I remember the first time I met my stepmother, Lauren. She was poised and polished, her smile too wide to be genuine. My father, a widower, had fallen for her charms immediately. I was hesitant, suspicious of her intentions from the beginning. As days turned into weeks, my unease grew. It started innocently enough, subtle shifts in her behavior that only I seemed to notice. The glint in her eyes when she thought no one was looking, the way she'd linger outside my father's study, ear pressed to the door as if trying to decipher his conversations. But it was her words that sent shivers down my spine, veiled threats disguised as concern. "You know, your father's life insurance policy is quite substantial," she mentioned one evening, her lips curled into a saccharine smile. "It's comforting to know that we'll be taken care of in case anything unfortunate were to happen to him." I pretended not to hear her, but her intentions were as clear as day. Lauren was plotting something sinister, something that involved my father's life insurance money. I couldn't let her succeed. I confronted my father, hoping he'd see through her facade, but he dismissed my concerns as baseless jealousy. Days turned into weeks, and I watched Lauren's schemes unfold like a slow-burning nightmare. She'd taken to slipping mysterious powders into my father's evening tea, claiming they were herbal remedies to help him sleep. I decided to take matters into my own hands. Late one night, I sneaked into the kitchen, my heart pounding in my chest. Lauren was there, hunched over the stove, stirring a noxious potion. I confronted her, my voice a whisper yet laced with determination. "What are you doing?" I demanded. She turned, her eyes wide with surprise. "Oh dear," she said, her tone dripping with false concern. "Your father has been having trouble sleeping. I'm just trying to help." I snatched the vial from her hands, my anger giving me strength. "This isn't help. It's poison," she laughed, a cold, heartless sound. "You're overreacting. I would never harm your father." But I wasn't convinced. I confronted my father again, this time showing him the evidence of Lauren's treachery. His eyes widened in shock, and for the first time I saw doubt flicker across his face. Confrontation led to a heated argument between my father and Lauren. In the end, he chose to believe me, his own flesh and blood, over the woman he had thought he loved. Lauren was escorted out of our lives, her plan foiled. In the aftermath, my father and I grew closer, the bond between us strengthening as we recovered from the nightmare Lauren had wrought. The experience left me scarred, forever wary of the darkness that could lurk behind a person's smile. I always thought that the phrase "wicked stepmother" was just a cliché, a stereotype from fairy tales that had no place in real life. That was until Karen entered our lives, and everything changed. My dad, Mike, was a good man. He loved my mom deeply until she passed away when I was 14. Losing her was hard on both of us, but eventually, Dad met Karen. At first, everything seemed fine. Karen was charming, with a smile that could light up a room. Dad was happy, and I was hopeful that life could return to normal. However, it didn't take long for Karen's true nature to reveal itself. She was controlling, manipulative, and had a way of twisting situations to make it seem like she was the victim. Whenever Dad wasn't around, she would belittle me, criticize my every move, and make me feel like I was a burden in my own home. One day, I overheard Karen talking to Dad on the phone. She was convincing him that I was a troublemaker, that I was lying and stealing. I felt a surge of anger and frustration. How could she lie so effortlessly? My relationship with my father began to deteriorate as he started to believe her stories over my truth. Karen's manipulation extended to every aspect of our lives. She would subtly poison Dad's mind against me, and he would scold me for things I didn't do. Karen would often use passive-aggressive remarks and backhanded compliments to demean me, all while maintaining a facade of sweetness in public. It was like living with a venomous snake disguised as a human being. One night I couldn't take it anymore. I confronted Dad about Karen's lies and manipulation, hoping he would see the truth. But he dismissed my concerns, blinded by Karen's deceitful charm. Feeling defeated, I retreated to my room, contemplating my options. As the days passed, Karen's behavior escalated. She started confiscating my belongings, claiming that I didn't deserve them. She isolated me from my friends, forbidding me from going out, and constantly berated me about my appearance and achievements. I felt like a prisoner in my own home, trapped with a woman who despised me for reasons I couldn't comprehend. One evening, unable to contain my frustration, I confronted Karen directly. "Why are you doing this to me?" I asked, my voice trembling with a mix of fear and anger. She looked at me, her eyes cold and calculating. "You're just a reminder of his past life," she said, her tone dripping with venom. "I can't stand the sight of you." Her words cut through me like a knife. How could someone be so cruel? I realized then that Karen wasn't just a wicked stepmother. She was a heartless monster, devoid of empathy or kindness. I decided that I couldn't let Karen destroy my life any further. I confided in a teacher at school who helped me connect with a social worker. With their support, I found the courage to speak up and reveal the truth about Karen's abuse. The authorities intervened, and Dad, finally seeing Karen's true colors, chose to stand by me. It took time, therapy, and a lot of healing, but eventually I managed to rebuild my life. The scars from those dark days remain, a constant reminder of the evil I once faced. But I emerged stronger, resilient, and determined to never let anyone's cruelty define my worth. Looking back, I shudder at the thought of the depths of Karen's malevolence. She was a master of deception, a nightmare cloaked in human skin. The rain fell in heavy sheets on the night I realized my stepmother, Vivian, was far more wicked than I had ever imagined. She hailed from Haiti, a place known for its mystical folklore, but her dark practices transcended mere superstition. The first signs of her malevolence appeared when my younger sister Emily fell violently ill. I brushed it off as a typical childhood ailment, but Vivian's eyes glinted with something sinister whenever she looked at Emily. Our home, once a haven, became a battleground. Vivian's demeanor shifted from feigned kindness to a thinly veiled hostility. My father, oblivious to her wicked intentions, remained entranced by her charm. I confronted Vivian one night, my voice sharp with accusation. "What have you done to Emily?" I demanded, my hands trembling with anger. She met my gaze with an icy smile. "You know nothing, child. Your sister's fate is sealed, and soon so will yours be." I dismissed her words as madness, but my skepticism waned when strange occurrences plagued our household. Objects moved without explanation, shadows danced in corners, and whispers echoed in the dead of night. I could feel an otherworldly presence enveloping us, suffocating the very air we breathed. Desperation gnawed at my heart, and I sought the guidance of Madame Zara, a local psychic renowned for her wisdom. Her eyes widened with terror as I recounted our plight. "Your stepmother practices dark arts, child, voodoo to be precise. She hungers for power and is willing to sacrifice your family to obtain it." Determined to protect my family, I delved into the mysteries of Haitian folklore, hoping to find a way to break Vivian's curse. In the dim candlelight of my room, I performed rituals and chanted incantations, desperate for a glimmer of hope. Days turned into weeks, and the malevolent force in our home grew stronger. Emily's condition worsened, her laughter replaced by agonized cries. My father, too, seemed to be under Vivian's spell, his once bright eyes now dull and lifeless. One fateful night, as the moon hung low in the sky, I stumbled upon Vivian in the midst of a sinister ritual. Candles flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. My blood ran cold as I witnessed her chanting ancient words, her hands moving with practiced precision. "You cannot stop what's already in motion," she sneered, her eyes ablaze with wicked delight. "Your family will suffer, and there's nothing you can do." But I refused to succumb to despair. Armed with newfound knowledge, I confronted Vivian, armed with talismans and symbols meant to protect against the dark arts. With trembling hands, I recited an incantation, channeling the strength of my ancestors. A blinding light engulfed us, forcing Vivian to recoil in horror. The room shook with a powerful force, and I could feel the energy shifting, the curse breaking under the weight of my determination. Vivian screamed, her voice a cacophony of anguish as her powers unraveled. In the aftermath, our home felt different, lighter, as if a heavy fog had lifted. Emily's health improved miraculously, and my father emerged from Vivian's spell, his love for us rekindled. Vivian, now powerless and broken, fled into the night, her malevolence vanquished by the strength of familial love and ancient magic.